G'day ladies and gents, welcome back to, yes, another War Thunder video. I have not done one of these in a long fucking time, so I thought why not, let's get one down. And today is going to be a special one because we are going to be doing a review on the H.M.C.S Haida, the ship that I work on, and I'm very lucky that War Thunder actually has this in its game because, you know, fucking hell, this ship is... it's a naval legend, and it really shows that in this game. They do have this in World Warships, sadly not in Legends, just yet. But yeah, so if you guys do recall, a little while ago, I did a little lesson on H.M.C.S Haida herself, and you kind of saw some pictures and all that about it. This particular model here, this is her G63 1943 fit. So she may look a bit different than she does today. For example, she does have her these particular turrets there. These are the 1943 4.7 inch turrets. These can only go up to about 45 to 0 degrees of elevation. But in 1949 there were new guns fitted, and they looked exactly like these ones. And they could go up to -10 to 85 degrees in elevation. As you can see right here, her vertical guidance is -10 to 40 degrees. That's the 1943 guns right there. But then in 49 she was then fitted with newer adjustments so they could shoot down airplanes. So this is her A gun, and her B gun is right there. They are almost identical, but not 100%. A gun is slightly longer than B gun, and you might be able to see that there. You see the barrels are a bit longer than B gun is. So in 1943, Haida's camouflage would have looked like this, and she would have her G63 on her side there and on the stern. During this time, she was given to Canada. And immediately right away she was flying the Commonwealth flag back there. So she's about 375 feet long, not bad for a ship like this. And her rear gun here, this is an anti-aircraft gun. We'll show this in the demonstration when I go to take it out. That gun there is used for anti-aircraft, so you can see there, -10 to 80 degrees, so it's a lot better for shooting airplanes. Today, this rear gun here has been replaced with a 40mm radar activated cannon that can go to -10 to 85 and can shoot about 10 kilometers away. So that's what this gun here was replaced with, and this other gun here, this 4.7 here, was replaced with a with the new and improved squid mortars that were basically the new and improved depth charges. So there's still some modern, like today, things that are still left on the ship. Today, the only two guns that were from the X and Y would be these two here, A gun and B gun. You can see here that we do have a little bit of a diagram there. So here's her bridge platform. In this section here, there would be loading areas here. Radio rooms 4 and 3 would be located up here. There's also a chart room just below the upper bridge there. There's the wheelhouse here. And the ops room, which was used to detect the submarines and all that. Here she has her 20mm anti-aircraft guns, normal. Those are her motor cutters there. She still has one in the museum gift shop at Parks Canada, where the ship is located. Over here you got your 40mm, another automatic cannon, and yeah, and then you got your marks. You got the torpedoes there, your Mark VII torpedo. So we only got 4, and they went by letters as well, A, B, C, D. And these things were pretty heavy. They said that these torpedoes could weigh up to about 5 tons each, so that's something else. But yeah, so that's Haida in this game. Also today, she has definitely looking different. Her bridge, sadly, is having to be replaced because her bridge platform was originally made of wood. So that's all rotted out, so they got to replace that, sadly. And her decks weren't made of wood. They were made of steel, but had rubber, like a thick rubber plating on top so you wouldn't slip around on the deck. And yeah, so that's that then. We also have the Z20 Carl Gallister in this game too, and a 1943 so-odd Minesweeper from Germany. But yeah, so that's enough about the description of Haida. Let's take it for a test sail then. I'm going to just put this on realistic because that's a lot better. Okay, so I can presentate quite a few things here. So her firing range on her X and Y, so her A, B, X and Y guns can go up to about 15 kilometers. You'll see here, I'm going to set the anti-aircraft guns, and they'll be firing at that JU-88 right there, and they're pretty accurate too. Gonna make quick work of the plane, very quick work of him. Down he goes. Blew his wing off. So then down he goes there. Now I can train the gun turrets here. We can fire at that little S-38. Oh shit, that was way too high. Correct my elevation.
Enemy ship on fire.
So these guns will fire out a 4.7-inch shell in about 4 seconds, which they can demonstrate here. You count to 4 and the guns just light the hell out of the boat. Okay, so in time he'll probably capsize, but I'll just hit him one more time there.
Done.
Oh, no, he's a goner. I know, aiming over here, we got this little fella. I'm going to do a full-on cell vault so you guys can see just how incredible these guns fire. But yeah, we could fire about 15 rounds a minute, I believe they said. And reload speed is 4 seconds, so the men were very fast. There'd be about 27 men working on one of these main battery turrets alone. There'd be about, I think, 14 men at the top and then 12 in the bottom, loading the shells and all that. So you could just imagine how fast these guys had to be, because you know, if you're going to be trying to hit a ship that's aiming at you, you got to hit him first and don't let him hit you. That's the rule. So full-on cell vault surprisingly didn't sink that little bugger, but it definitely did a lot of damage to this little boat. Let's finish him off with one more. No, well, I guess not. He's surviving. Okay, so Haida's top speed is about 37.5 knots, or something like that. I believe she can go at about 37.5 miles an hour, shown here, at all ahead full. She's very maneuverable. That's the thing about destroyers. Even though they were big looking, they were actually very nippy and could really get around in a tight space. The main reason why U-boat sailors and all that hated destroyers was because not only could they detect them and sink them easily, it was also that they were very hard to hit with torpedoes because of how fast they were. A torpedo can go about 40 miles an hour at most, but if you're aiming at it from a certain distance, it's not going to hit the destroyer because the destroyer is going, you know, in a certain speed, but they could also detect it easier and flank it simply. They could also probably just shoot the submarine out of the water. So that's the thing. Now, granted, destroyers can be sunk, easily. They're very lightly armored ships. They're kind of like a light tank, if you will. What you see, even a small tank can deliver a big punch if a hit is done properly. So even though Haida is small, she can still destroy ships twice her size. Just have to use strategy and all that. So she is actually capable of sinking cruisers. I'll demonstrate that today. We'll sink those two ships in over there, but you can see she is moving pretty darn fast. So she's called the Trooper class destroyer. She was actually taken from a Chinese or Japanese or something. I think it was a Chinese design. And this particular class was called Tribal. 27 exact ships like this were built. Her sister ship, the Athabaskan, was sunk right beside her by a German U-boat. I think on something like the 28th of April, 27th, around there. Or something like that. And the casualties, I think it was around 120. Something like that, I'm not 100% sure, but there were quite a few. And the captain ordered his men to take out the motor cutter, which is that little speedboat looking thing there, and go and get as many survivors as possible. So that just shows how much Canadians do care about their allies. I think they sunk the U-boat. I know for a fact that Haida sank 7 Nazi destroyers and a U-boat during the war, and destroyed 2.5 trains in Korea. So she's earned herself a pretty good reputation for being one of the finest ships in the Canadian Navy. Definitely a really good ship. And it's really good that we can go and see her today, because she's the last one remaining. All the other ships were sunk. 13 was sunk, 13 was scrapped. Haida was going to be scrapped, but then they saved her. She used to be in Toronto. In 1963, she was then moved to, I believe, Hamilton, something like that. It was either 63 or something. I know she retired right after the Korean War ended, which was in 53. And, yeah. I think she now just spends the rest of her time in Hamilton, thank God. Okay, so that was a good hit there. So now we're going to try and sink the destroyer here. Now granted, we could fire 15 kilometers away easily. That's totally fine. But you see, you got to hit the weak points. Now if you do strike a ship's engine room, that's going to stop them from moving, because if you take out the engine room, that's like the heart of your ship right there. Whenever the heart, when the heart stops, ship stops. So that's what I'm kind of aiming at there. Use our binoculars here. Try and aim it over there. Lower. There we go. That was a good hit. Now I could probably fire a couple torpedoes at her, but I don't really want to do that. I'll save that for the bigger one. So I'll aim a little bit lower there. So now we're striking torpedo tubes, all that. Ship's taking a lot of water. These are good hits that Haida's doing. Very good hits. Just destroying this thing. So there's major flooding in the engine room now.
The enemy ship
She has been knocked out. So you see that? That's how you make it quick work with the destroyer. So it doesn't even take that long for Haida to sink certain ships. It's because these men were fast. Also, the German ships, they did have 5 guns, but they were not fast. They were not that quick, and they were single barrel. So even though the ship had 5 gun turrets, it didn't really match up to Haida. Now, during the war, Haida did take a couple of hits. She took a few in a funnel, and I think one good hit to the captain's day cabin, which is located, I don't really know how to point that out, but right underneath the 40mm gun, that's where his cabin was, his day cabin, and he took a shell right through there, and when he went to go look at the damage, he was more pissed off by the fact that his golf clubs were destroyed. Yeah. He wasn't really pissed off by the fact that his room was blown up. He was just more pissed off that his golf clubs were busted. So it's kind of funny, I guess. But yeah, if you do look on Haida today, you'll see a couple patches where the shells were hit. I work on the ship, as I probably mentioned quite a bit before. And yeah, I've noticed a couple things. It's a very fascinating ship. It's not that big, but, you know, it is what it is, and it's a very amazing ship. Definitely gotta come see it. Okay, so that's a light cruiser there. Haida can sink this thing, but definitely take a while. I'm gonna get in a little bit closer here so I can use my torpedoes on it. I think maybe 2 or so would be fine. Maybe. If I'm in torpedo range, probably am. I'm in torpedo range. Alright, so I'll fire about, what, 1 or 2 off. Okay, so that's torpedo dead zone. Okay, so I'm gonna... Yeah. Alright, let's fire, what, 1? Maybe 1 or 2. Okay, there we go. Let's try that. And I'll firing at it. So now, whenever Haida ran out of torpedoes, she never had any spares. So if you ran out of torpedoes, you had to go back to port and reload them. Because they're too fucking big. You can't fit them in any kind of storage space. Because they're 5-ton torpedoes. And you can't really put them anywhere. There was an accident though, when I believe a story that my boss told me, when someone accidentally pushed a button and a torpedo launched onto the deck. It didn't do anything, but what ended up happening was it ended up, see, there we go, so now it's sunk. But anyway, the torpedo ended up just sitting on the deck. It was active. Last thing you want is to have an active torpedo on your deck, because that thing could go up at any time, and if it did, it would probably end up sinking the ship probably, or causing severe damage, making it scuttle and not even be able to move. Because the torpedoes are right above the engine room. So if one went off, the engine room would be gone. So not only would it probably cause a fuck ton of damage, it would probably kill quite a lot of people. Now, there were only about 15 to 13 men working in the engine room, but still, all the other people around, but you also got ammunition everywhere. You got the Bofors, the 40mm there, you got 20mm there, all that ammunition that could blow up too, that caused more damage. Yeah, so they had to disarm this thing, so they had to kind of push it over the side of the deck carefully. They had to lower it into the water, deactivate it, bring it back up. So, pretty intense moment. The ship also almost sank in a typhoon in Japan, I believe. My boss said he was right on the bridge when it happened. And he said that it was like, I don't know how to explain, but like, you know when you kind of like when you're on a roller coaster and you do like one of the sharp turn tilts or something like that, where you're basically sideways. That's what it was like. And he said that he had to hold on because he was going to fall off. I think he was hanging almost onto something there, and then all of a sudden the waves just kind of brung him back to stability there. And yeah, it was something. There's a lot of stories about this ship that just make it all more amazing. But yep, in War Thunder, this is a premium ship. I definitely can't buy this. It's about $70 for crying out loud. But at least I'm able to test sail it here for you. But yeah, that's H.M.C.S Haida, everybody. In this game, it's pretty good and accurate to the real thing. The guns do fire normal degrees because they are 43, so about 40 degrees. If they were 85 or so, they would probably go up to here or something. And yeah, fly about 15 kilometers away. It's a very good ship. I love it. Very happy that War Thunder has it in here. I could also try doing the German Z-20 Carl Gallister. I could do that one in another episode there. This episode here is just dedicated to Haida. But yeah. So I think that should be all. If you guys did enjoy this quick video, make sure that you do leave a like and hit that subscribe button there. Make sure that you do turn your post notifications on so you don't miss out on any other new video coming out. And I'll definitely talk to you guys very soon. I'll do the German one next up. So yeah, stay tuned, and I'll catch you on the flip side there. Take care.